Hey everyone, this is Metz. So today I would like to talk to you about a very amazing software, music training software that I've been using now for like probably got 5 years, maybe even a little more. It's according to me, one of the best music softwares that you can find out there for sure. Software that will really make you progress a bunch, and that is actually fun to use, easy to use. So I'm talking about the software called EarMaster. They just came out with like a new update. I think it's EarMaster 7, and I've been playing around with it. Honestly, it's incredible. But first of all, I'd like to talk to you about ear training in general. What's ear training? Why is it useful? Well, it's good to think of it this way. Like if you start, if you want to learn how to cook, well, the first thing you want to do, apart from learning recipes and all the theory behind it and all the knowledge that you can learn, well, you also have to develop your taste buds and your palate. Like recognizing your ingredients. The ingredients that you're going to use in your recipes are key. You need to be able to isolate or recognize them. Like I remember seeing one of those shows where they're blind tasting. Like all the guys are, they have they're in the dark, completely in the dark. They taste something and they recognize all those ingredients just by tasting them, and they're able to reproduce it or improvise things like that. So all this is you can apply it to music very easily. This metaphor is actually, cooking and music or something. Both are arts that I really enjoy doing, and yeah, it's basically the same. Like when you're playing music, composing music, and most importantly, I'd say improvising. You need to be able to recognize what you're hearing, to know what context you're in. You need to be able to know what the notes you're going to play are going to sound like, and all this is key to improvising efficiently, to having to really mastering the notes that you're going to play, to really know what your chord's going to sound like, if it's going to sound differently with this inversion or this other inversion. So obviously you need to know music theory to truly apply ear training. But combined together, music theory and ear training, you will be unbeatable, unstoppable. And honest to God, the progress I've made when I started doing ear training and really started educating my ears, it's ridiculous. It's amazing. And now, being able to recognize, okay, I'm playing the ninth, I know how it sounds. Playing the third, I know how it sounds. I know how I want it to sound. It's a little bit hard at first, but it's absolute freedom afterwards. And also, I would say it's kind of fun to work on that, and they actually make it quite interesting in EarMaster. All right, so let's go straight to the software, and I'll show you guys how I use it and how you can make progress using EarMaster, some of the techniques I personally use. Alright, so I have just opened the EarMaster software right here. So obviously I'm not going to be able to show you all the features. There's so many features on this in this software, but I'll show you two of my favorite ones that have really been the most useful. So the first one would be keep wanting me to update that for some reason. Okay, so have a bunch of chords. If you're a beginner, you don't know a lot about music theory, I guess this course would be the one you want to choose. Guides you through like a lot of cool music theory, so like pitch, pulse, dominant chords, subdominant chords, all those things. So very very useful if you're you want to practice some of your training, but you don't know much about music theory. All right. Now, the ones I recommend are the general workshops. So these go from simple exercise to very complex, most complex ones. So, but the way it's done is very easy, and it's very progressive, and it's a step-by-step progression, which is good. Like, so it'll start with interval. So an interval, just in case you don't know what it is, an interval is the distance between two notes. Like da-na would be a major second. The intervals can be melodic, which is what I just did, one note after the other. It can be ascending, da-na, descending, da-na. Or they can be harmonic, which means played at the same time, which obviously I can't do by myself. I could do it on the piano here really quick, like that. Anyways. So, first one is comparison. Is that how you say it? Sorry, my French accent is coming back. I'm very tired today. Comparing two intervals. And this is the easiest step. Like, which one is the bigger interval? So there'll be two intervals, and you have to say, okay, that one is bigger than this one. That one is smaller than this one. So that's pretty easy. Then it goes to interval identification over here. So that's the step above, where you have the notes. The notes are played, and you have to recognize. So, the first stage, I don't know. Since I updated, I don't have access to all the exercises, unfortunately. But I'll show you a bunch by doing custom exercises. So easiest is recognizing the minor second and the major second. So the minor second, sounds like that. The major second. All right, and so they'll play you a bunch of intervals, and you have to recognize them. So it goes, they add more and more into the software, adds more and more intervals as you get better. It gets a little harder and harder and harder and harder. And then at the end, you can basically recognize all the intervals, ascending, descending, harmonic intervals, and all the intervals within the octave, or even beyond the octave, within 2 octaves, which is sometimes a little tricky, a little different. Now the thing is, once you know your intervals, you unlock a lot of really cool possibilities. For example, if someone plays a melody, you can recognize the intervals between all the notes, and you can write it down very easily, or you can play it again really easily just because you recognize those intervals. And so it gets easier to remember. And your ear is more precise, it's sharper. Now, intervals will also allow you to choose choose the right notes when you're improvising. Like, you have, when you improvise, you're usually improvising over some chords. This chord has a particular bass, and this note will be used as a reference for your improvisation. Well, if you know your intervals, you can hear the notes you're going to hit before you even play them. You're like, okay, now I want to play that ninth, because I know what a ninth sounds like, so I'm going to play it. I know it's going to sound good in that situation. So let's just do, I guess I'm going to go back and do a customized exercise for intervals, and I'm just going to show you how it works. So here I'm just going to choose all the intervals, which would mean if I was doing the regular course, I would have unlocked all those intervals within the octave, and now I'm able to do everything, ascending, descending, and I'm going to use, and also play it harmonic. So let's begin. So here you have all the options here. Let's see. Come on. So, dun-dun. It gives me the first note here. Now I instantly heard it was a minor sixth. If you don't, when you practice a bunch, you can hear that instantly. Like, you recognize red or blue. Well, you recognize intervals just as fast. Okay, so now here I heard that nice perfect fifth. So I can just go through the exercise like that. This is an octave. Okay, here's the fourth. Unison, that's very difficult. Okay, here minor seventh. So, now there's another way of doing this. If you want to learn how to write music or read music a little bit better, you can actually put in the answer right over here. So, like what I just hear, I can hear this descending minor second. So if that's a G right here, it's gonna be an F sharp right here. So very easy. And here I can see that automatically recognize it was a minor second, and this is the correct answer. Now, if I was to do like a wrong answer, so say I say that's a fifth when it's not. Show me the answer. It's really simple, really clear. It's a lot of fun to do. Now the step afterwards would be to just do that with your guitar or with your piano or with any instrument. Just play intervals, try to recognize them, challenge yourself. Listen to a melody and try to recognize the intervals between all the notes. And this, it all starts with this exercise right here, and it unlocks all those awesome possibilities after that. So, let's see. So the step after this one would be chords. Chords are basically more intervals. A chord is 3 notes, which is 3 intervals at the same time. So you really want to start with intervals, and then you can gradually go towards more complicated exercises. So I want to do a chord identification. So that's the same. You have all the different types of chords, from simple, major, minor, to more complex chords. So, I can try to add more complicated chords here. I hope I can actually recognize some of those. Are pretty hard to get, but that's probably enough. Let's see what I can get here. That's a little more advanced. So I got the 7th chord right here. That's the dominant. So same thing. You can answer over here on the little pad, I guess, or we have buttons here, or you can put in the answer right here. Just write it down. Okay, so let's try. Now that sounded like a diminished chord, and it was. So same thing. I just put the answer here because I'm lazy, but I could have put all the notes manually in here, and that would have been equally accepted. So I heard that nice fourth, so 7 sus 4. Okay, same thing. Now, and if I got it wrong, so let's say I put major to be sure I'm wrong about that one, and now it shows me the right answer. I can, so that was my answer. Really have to hear that difference, and you learn from your mistakes, right? All right. So, okay, now scale identification. Same thing. If you master your intervals, scales are going to get really, you're going to understand that quite easily, because it's melodic patterns, like tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, things like that. So those are melodic path. Or you can also listen to scales, or you can see scales and modes, like with using their tonic as a reference, and hear all the different intervals between all the notes and the tonic, and this way you can easily recognize a mode or a scale, even if the notes are not played or not lined up. Like if I don't play the major scale, but if I was to play something like, all right, well, it's not this, it's not the scale itself, but I can hear all those intervals compared to the tonic of the scale, which allows me to recognize it anyways. All right, I was just doing a little exercise here to finish. The same thing, if you went through the regular course, they would guide you through, start with really simple modes and then go, work your way up to more complicated modes, and then you can play them ascending, descending, or actually in random orders, which gets a little harder. So I'm just gonna play them ascending because I'm lazy today. So all right, just a couple modes here. Let's see. So I heard a Locrian mode, and yeah. So how I did that? Well, you got to know your modes, and you got to educate your ear. You got to work on that. But now, if I hear that in a piece of music, I know that I have to play Locrian. I know that it's going to be the idea of the piece at that moment, or something like that. So I heard the whole tone scale. Pretty easy because it only has 6 notes, so yeah, really different from the other ones. But anyways, this is how I personally use EarMaster, and I'm really sorry about this beta expired. I don't know why they want me to update that. I don't really need it. It's kept showing up throughout the entire video, but I hope you still learn a bunch of things, and I really encourage you to get this software. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's great. It's great. You will make amazing progress. I don't know what no matter what your ambitions are in music. If you want to become a professional, obviously you will love that. If you're a teacher, it's gonna be an awesome tool to use for your students. If you're, just trying to boost up your level in music in general, this is a great way to do it. It's a great way to do it because it's not all about technique. It's not all about learning scales and playing your scales at 500 miles an hour. It's about listening. It's about hearing. It's about the colors of the notes. And this will guide you through all that. It also has a lot of cool rhythmic exercises, and to some extent, rhythms is also ear training. It's the same thing, but it's applied to rhythms. So you will learn everything thanks to this software. Their new version is it's amazing, way better than the one before. Really easy to use, really intuitive, apart from that pop-up window that shows up every 2 seconds over here. But well, I guess that's not going to happen if you download it. I don't know why it happens to me. Anyways, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one.